All right, welcome back to the Pixels and Projects podcast. I'm Johnson, and I'm here with my favorite co-host, Jody. Today, we're diving into something every remote team faces, whether they admit it or not: conflict. And you know, Jody, the numbers are kind of wild. That 2023 Buffer report, it says 24% of remote workers say communication and collaboration are their biggest headaches. That's a quarter of everyone out there, just struggling to get their point across.
Oh, I know. And it gets even trickier for managers. Gartner found that 69% of managers, almost 7 out of 10, aren't confident handling conflict in remote teams. I mean, that's a lot of folks just winging it, hoping things don't blow up in their Slack channels.
Yeah, and it shows, right? Harvard Business Review pointed out that remote employees are, 2.5 times more likely to think a conflict is worse than it really is. I guess when you can't see someone's face, you just fill in the blanks with the worst case scenario. And Gallup says teams with a real conflict resolution process are 50% more likely to stay engaged, even when things get tense. So, it's not just about avoiding fights, it's about keeping the team together and productive.
Absolutely. And, Johnson, I think a lot of managers just weren't trained for this. They know how to handle a spat in the break room, but when it's all happening in DMs and emails, it's a whole different ballgame. The impact is real. If you don't get ahead of it, performance drops, people get quiet, and suddenly nobody wants to turn their camera on.
Oh, for sure. That reminds me of my first remote team back in, I want to say 2012, maybe 2013. Anyway, I thought, hey, we're all adults, we'll just get our work done. But man, I was not ready for the little misunderstandings that turned into big problems. Like one guy thought another was ignoring him, but really, he just didn't see the message buried in 100 notifications. Next thing you know, they're both frustrated and productivity tanks. I learned real quick that you can't just hope things work themselves out in a remote setup.
Oh, I hear you. It's like if you don't have a plan, the chaos just sneaks up on you. But, that's why we're here, to talk about what actually works, not just what sounds good on paper.
That's right.
So, let's get into the good stuff. What actually helps? First up, clear communication protocols. I know it sounds a little boring, but Microsoft's research notes teams with these protocols have 42% fewer misunderstandings. That's huge. Things like response time expectations or documenting how decisions get made and having regular virtual office hours. I love the idea of asynchronous tools too. Sometimes you just need to leave a note and let folks get to it when they can.
Yeah, and it's not just about the tools, right? It's about having a system, like a communication charter, just a simple doc that says, here's how we talk, here's how fast we reply, here's what to do if there's a problem. It takes the guesswork out. And then you got your escalation pathways. If a conflict pops up, people know exactly where to go instead of just stewing about it.
Exactly. And don't forget those collaborative tools. Mural, Miro, heck, even Microsoft has one. All those whiteboard apps. They're not just for brainstorming. You can use them to map out issues visually, so everyone sees the same thing. McKinsey's research backs this up. Teams with strong social connections and structured processes resolve conflicts way better.
And documenting those conflict resolution meetings is key. I always say if it isn't written down, it didn't happen. Plus, following up within 48 hours keeps everyone accountable. But Jody, you had a great story about a vendor team that really turned things around, right?
Oh, yes. So I worked with this vendor team that was just stuck. Folks were afraid to speak up, and little issues kept festering. We rolled out a virtual open door policy. Basically, anyone could book time with the project manager. No judgment. We also started using anonymous feedback tools like Culture Amp and set up a dedicated Teams channel just for peer support. Within a couple months, the vibe totally changed. People started sharing ideas, conflicts got addressed early, and the workflow just smoothed out. It was like night and day.
That's a great example. Sometimes it's just about giving people a safe space to talk, you know, and making sure they know it's okay to bring up problems before they get out of hand.
That's the point. Leaders need to be proactive.
So once you've gotten the basics down, it's all about building that team cohesion. McKinsey says teams with strong social connections are 34% more likely to resolve conflicts in a positive way. And honestly, that's what keeps people happy and productive in the long run.
Oh, for sure. I love organizing virtual team building activities, trivia nights, coffee chats, even silly pet photos. It sounds simple, but it really helps folks see each other as people, not just names on a screen. And cross-functional projects? This is great. You get people from different backgrounds working together, and suddenly they're learning from each other instead of butting heads.
Mentorship, too. Pairing up folks for peer mentoring or just regular check ins can make a huge difference. And the numbers back it up. Stanford's 2023 study found that teams who handle conflict well see a 27% jump in innovation and a 22% boost in productivity. That's not just feel good stuff, that's real business impact.
And it's not just about the big gestures. Sometimes it's the little things, like sending out a quick anonymous survey to check the team's temperature or blocking out a couple hours a week for virtual office hours. Those small steps add up. I always say, if you make space for people to connect, they'll surprise you with what they can accomplish together.
Couldn't agree more, Jody. So whether you're a seasoned manager or just starting out, remember, conflict's gonna happen. But with the right tools and a little intention, you can turn it into something positive. That's all for today, but we've got plenty more to cover in our next episode.
Thanks for joining us, y'all. Johnson, always a pleasure. Can't wait to dig into more remote work tips on the Pixels and Projects podcast. Remember, if you're looking for more insights or tools, check out our website at pixelsandprojects.com for free templates and articles to help you in your PM journey.
And on that note, thanks to all our listeners. See you next time.